Hello, everybody, and welcome back. How you do? How you be? What's going on? Oh my gosh, I'm excited. I tell you, it's just been an amazing, PTS cycle. I'm so excited about what has come about for our week 4 going on here. Mostly, I say mostly, all of it about the advancement in Frost. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you all know. A lot of people know. Honestly, my characters even call it. It's called Frostagon. All right? For the last, I don't know, gosh, maybe 5 years and stuff, I've been trying to put together a Frost build that would work, that would be competitive, and it's had its ups and downs and heavy attacks and non-heavy attacks and, trying to find things that work and, different patch cycles have added and subtracted, and I got even emotional at some things I thought were destroying it. Just kind of crazy. But thing that I've been really liking, especially with the news of today with the PTS and going forward. Here, let me find it here. Let me pull this up. The Warden with Winter's Embrace. If you've checked this out on the PTS patch notes, now remember, like with all PTS patch notes, they are subject to change. But this seems like exactly what I've been looking for years in here. Winter's Embrace, Piercing Cold, okay, which is the passive. So if you're not too sure about this, all right, whoops, hold on. Let me go. Let me get the passives down here in the Winter's Embrace skill tree. Down here, all of these different passives. It's got one that's called Piercing Cold that has gone through a bunch of different revamps, and it's being changed to be a little bit more friendly going forward. And so it's going to change from this to where this was determined on how much overall health you had to blocking versus damage. Mostly to kind of like tone it down a little bit for PvP. And so you had to kind of you had to be wary about how much health that you had overall and stuff. So they're making it in this next one that you have. I'm so excited! I can't even talk about it. That it's more kind of general use, that you've got your damage, things that are going to damage and things that are going to block. One's not dependent on the other, basically. All right. So I thought we were done, but now we have this kind of addendum to this that just shows up in week 4. And a lot of times the stuff that are week 4, they show up. These are the things that show up when it goes live. So Piercing Cold increases the passives increase to frost damage from 7 to 15%, to 7 to 15%, up from 5 to 10%. Yeah, because they're just going to give us a flat damage, increase, not based, whether or not you what health and whatnot in there. So, and then I love that they took the time to give a little developer comment, because this is something that just, like I said, makes me so incredibly happy. It says, we're temporarily inflating the damage of this passive to influence frost damage a bit more aggressively than we like. Yeah, and to give you a little bit of a background and stuff, of all the 3 lines, skill lines that a warden gets, the animal companion one, that's your damage line. Gosh, I'm now forgetting names of things. Your green balance, that's your healing line. In there, and your Winter's line is your tank side of things, but there are a couple of items on there that do allow for doing damage. All right, and I'll show you those in a little bit too. And so it's just enough to kind of hint at, man, you could make something that is a ice damage. So you didn't have to have stuff that was fire, things that were just lightning, which were usually kind of the 2 things, because the fire does a lot of damage over time and stuff. Lightning does stuff with splash damage and does stuff for direct damage where the frost one was always delegated to having something that gave you blocking or gave you a shield. Like if you do a heavy attack with a frost staff, you get a shield. So everything's kind of defensive. Where I've always seen it as, man, this has so much potential for being an offensive thing, but because of where it lies, it's a little bit, tricky with that. Well, you all know with the new subclassing that's coming out, where you can pick your own skill lines to complement things are going to change a little bit. I actually going to be coming out with a build when it goes live, utilizing some of the frost skills of the necromancer and some skills out of the Templar that are going to help elevate some of the damage that we see coming out of the warden with some of the frost skills. So there's an aspect of that, within it. I'm so excited about that. And then this just got dropped today. We're temporarily inflating the damage of the passive due to influence of frost damage, be a bit more aggressively than we'd like, until we find a better long-term solution. So again, they're looking at this. They're trying to find it. And what do they have in parentheses? I have it even underlined. Like more sources of frost damage in general. So either a skill or gear or something in a passive or, conjuring a weapon or something. There's a lot of things that we can go into here that we could, allow for it. Pets. If you notice my thumbnail, I actually used the thumbnail from where you get to create an Atronach in Oblivion, and so Elder Scrolls 4, and I'm like, oh my gosh, could you imagine having a pet, kind of like the Sork has, but have the pet be an Atronach that runs around with you? Oh my gosh! Like I said, there's things out there that could add to this, and since that we're going to be seeing it with a subclassing, where you're looking at individual skill lines and not just a combination of 3 to make up a whole class. We now can look at it and see what kinds of things are possible, and having a frost line that is more kind of streamlined towards having a damage option could be amazing. So I'm so glad, and I think the devs are really kind of looking at it, because I know there's a lot of people out there that see the possibilities. Devs out there that see it, content creators that see it, and I think it's just going to be tremendous. And so the direction is phenomenal. And then the last line, I kind of use this the tag in my on my thumbnail as well, and in the title of the thing, there's that. For those who wish, so talking again, until we can find a better long-term solutions, like more sources of frost damage in general, for those who wish to wield the cold like a weapon. That's me. Can I raise my hand? I don't have a video today of myself. It's like, can I raise my hand? I want to be able to wield it. So many options, within that. I mentioned the Frost Atronach. Being able to have a pet that goes along with you. You could have what's the one for DKs, imbue weapon. I think it's called imbue weapon, where you give everyone a little bit of extra flame damage or something like that in there. To be able to imbue frost onto weapons, so that you can do some extra frost damage when you attack things. Things like in the Arcanist, the scholarship, where it actually changes your staff, that changes your staff and makes it all kind of green and everything like that to do more arcane damage. I mean, doing the same thing, inspired frost damage or whatever they would call it, and stuff to transform, your weapon and have it, frost and stuff like that. So it does more. You could even do it, for melee damage or something like that. I mean, there's so many different options out there that that you could have to bring this along. And I've been loving, like I said, I love all the frost stuff. Being able to do all kinds of things with it. Some great looking animations with frost. I've always liked it. One of my favorite alties is in here as well. I mean, look at that. I mean, just so many great things to create a character that's, frost-based damage, all about controlling, slowing things down, doing damage, having an Atronach maybe fight for you, imbuing your weapons, all these kinds of things. And then being able to supplement them with subclasses that might have something. A lot of people forget the very popular flail that is in the Arcanist. If you take the other morph that's not the healing one, when you hit it, it heals. The other one is actually you do frost damage, and I'm actually going to explore that in my Frostagon build, for the next update. So so utilizing that, the Colossus out of the Necromancer, the ultimate, is actually a frost Colossus. It actually does frost damage in there. So again, another one of the Arcanist ones where it does like an AoE root on the ground. It explodes to everything around it, and it's actually frost damage in there. So they've been toying with it. They've kept frost kind of in the mix, little bits here, little bits there. But I'm so glad that they're looking forward and having the warden kind of lead the way with this, and hopefully get more and more frost skills and traits and gear and stuff to do it. I'm really loving it. Even speaking about gear, the two that are kind of the most popular, like I said, I would love to have other ones in there. Whirl of the Depths. Whirl of the Depths is fantastic because it's frost damage. That pool that goes around. Very popular if you're going to make a frosting is Frostbite. That increases the damage done with frost abilities. And I haven't asked anybody yet, but I assume that the frost abilities from other, traits, it sounds player testable. I could hear Rich talking and Finn talking about it. And Gil too. Player testable. Going out there and trying, this frost setup, which usually we would have on a warden, but use it, now with these subclassings. Will it affect, that Arcanist skill? Will it affect the Necromancer skill, as well? Because you don't use it on that because you just don't have enough of those skills. Where now I'm going to have every skill on my bar when I get that is going to be a frost skill, So yeah. So I'm very, 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 very excited. So it's just been fantastic. So and like I said, with the news of today, coming out and everything, I hope everybody, gravitates to maybe wanting to explore. And like I said, I will definitely be coming out with my Frostagon. I believe this is, I don't know what iteration this is, 5.0, 6.0, or something like that. But I will definitely go through and make up a new build when all the subclassing and update comes out in June. And I hope you will give it a try, and especially if you are someone who enjoys all of the frost skills like I do. And we'll see what the future holds. Like I said, I'm super excited, for them to say those words and everything, and show that there's interest for them to want to to make the frost side of the skills, something that you can definitely have an all frost build, just be fantastic. So, all right, everybody, thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.